Hi, I'm Dave. This is the Cyderbaby show, and we are speaking today to Spyder Byte. Hello, Nate.
Man, how you doing?
Not so bad. You're looking well. You're looking chilled. You're looking relaxed.
Cheers,
Looks like
dude.
you've
I'm
got.
way too fucking hot in this room, but thank you very much.
There's a lot of stuff in that room. I mean, I did
Yeah,
have the camera view of the entire room just now. So
this is my little music room. It's got almost everything in it and
yeah,
more. It's got it's got
yeah.
a bass cab, it's got two guitar cabs, it's got guitar combos, my whole record collection, players, everything.
And I bet you do all your mixing and mastering in that room as well.
Well, this is the room that we actually did the vocal production for in for the EP, and where I recorded the bass for the
Okay.
EP. So yeah, we did the vocal production over two weekends, spaced out evenly between each other to give our vocalist a little bit of time. And the bass was done in one day, and even that, considering I wasn't happy with each take that I was doing, it took from about 10 o'clock in the morning till about 7 o'clock at night.
Right. That's
So
pretty good
yeah,
going.
quite some time for 4 tracks.
Okay. So you've mentioned the EP. You might as well tell me more about it then.
So yeah, I mean it's our second full EP that we've done.
Hmm.
In terms of like bodies of work, it's the fourth that we've released, comprising of 4 tracks, all written over the span of COVID. Parts have been written before that, and parts have been written around the time that we actually started to like come together a
Yeah.
little bit more. There was a lot of upheaval in the band around the time that we started to actually piece this stuff together.
Okay.
So we had back in 2020, we had one of our guitarists leave. We replaced him with a new guy. In 2021, the original guitarist that we had, like before anyone else, he left. In 2022, the new guy that we got in to replace the first dude, he left, and now thankfully we're in the situation that we're in now, with Steve. So it comprises of myself on bass guitar,
Yeah.
Steve on guitar. We've got Dan on vocals and Connor on drums, and it's the first time that we've ever actually been a 4 piece. I think ever since starting the band, we was all kind of dead set on having two guitars for like twin attack, and
Yeah.
not so much dual leads, but something to kind of back up the sound.
Yeah.
When guitarists play solos, and I was so apprehensive and a bit nervous, about dropping to a 4. But we just
Okay.
we just kind of we took a step back, and we were just like, is it going to make much of a difference? Yeah, it might make a little bit, but that's what distortion on a bass guitar is for. Just whack that up a little bit to enough to kind of fill it out and to kind of fill out that dead space. And honestly, I wouldn't look back now. I think we as a collective, as a 4 piece, have really kind of found our way,
Yeah.
with just kind of working with who we are, and I couldn't be happier, to be honest.
Yeah. Brilliant. I mean, your builders, glam, sleaze, that kind of stuff. I mean, has your sound changed a little bit now with the new member?
So I think, not so much with the new member. I mean, Steve brings in like a different. He obviously brings in his own influences. I think
Yeah.
that we all do. Um, whilst I think that we kind of, obviously we get glammed, fucking idiot. We get billed as like glam and sleaze. In my mind, it takes more of an influence from sleazier type of rock and metal rather than glam.
Yeah.
It's a bit heavier, I think, than what some people traditionally call like glam. Because I mean, if you think of new bands, for example, you think of the Darkness, you might think of Maneskin, you might think of Steel Panther.
Yeah.
Old bands, you're probably thinking of like Skid Row, Motley Crue, Def
Yeah.
Leppard. And in my mind, it leans a little bit more possibly towards stuff like Motley Crue and Skid Row, but it's got its whole different entity unto itself. We've all got different appreciations in the band. Connor, our drummer, he loves his power metal and his speed metal. I'm at the moment, I'm massive into the Scandinavian sleaze scenes, stuff like Backyard Babies, The Cruel Intentions, any kind
Yeah.
of like newish modern sleaze and hard rock. Dan, as a person in himself, he loves like kind of alt rock and thrash. Yeah, and Steve is a little bit more modern. He likes more like modern types of rock and metal.
Yeah.
But we all kind of find our little common ground in that 80s rock and in that 80s style. I think mostly it's just about having the fun, because you can find the fun in the genre. With certain things you can't really. With certain genres, you sometimes feel like you've got to focus in on it a bit too much. It's thinking man's music.
Yeah.
We're just about having a drink, having some fun, and just having a fucking party, you know.
Yeah, I can't fault you for that. I mean, that sounds like an excellent idea.
Good night out, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what you want to be entertained for, isn't it? Is you pay your money on the door, you go in, you want to be entertained. And to see, say, a three-piece just stand static and churn out something that's probably really intricate is great, but it doesn't get the juices going, does it?
Oh, that's it. Like technically, it's amazing to watch some of these musicians go, and there's no fault in them at all. I've played with musicians like that, and it's always incredible, and you're always in awe watching them, especially whilst being in a band, because it's like, fucking hell, how are you doing that without even breaking a sweat? But I don't know if I've got a little bit of a kind of more old school mindset, but I think if you still go and watch like a rock band or a rock, any kind of rock gig, and they're not looking like they're enjoying themselves, and for example, they know that they've missed a note, but fuck it, who cares, because it's live music, then it's a little bit too produced, and I like watching it with a little bit more life rather than everything being a little bit static,
Yeah. I mean, I was looking on your Facebook page. You've actually played a few gigs with people that I do know, like Gypsy Pistoleros.
Okay. Yes, we just come off the back of doing a couple of gigs with them on Saturday down at Hastings.
Oh, we have another admission.
Oh, is that our drummer?
No, it's Dan.
Oh, it's our singer.
I can kick him out again if you like. That's fine.
All right, Dan.
Hello.
Hello. How are you? We started the interview without you, but it's all good. How are you, sir?
Yeah. I'm all good, thank you, sir. How the devil are you?
Oh, I'm top of the world. I am. He says, lying through his teeth. we were just discussing good time bands, just having a party at gigs. I mean, as a front man, you've got to be up for that, surely.
Oh, definitely. I like a bit of a party. I also like a snooze as well.
Is this when you tell the guitarist to do a 10-minute?
Yeah, just 10-minute nap, and then I'm back.
Yay, power nap. They used to call that in the 80s.
I think they still call it that.
Yeah. I've never managed to get into that myself. So if I take a nap, it's usually 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah, as soon as I nap, I'm out. Done.
Yeah, that's it. Hey ho. Right. Well, we were just talking about bands you just recently played with. I mean, I know Gypsy Pistoleros, and you've played with Primer as well, or is that coming up?
We've played up.
And we've played
with Primer a lot. Definitely over the past couple of years. They've only really, I think they've been a band for a fair while. But they're like long time Kent friends of ours now. We've played with them a couple of times. They're supporting us on Saturday for our EP launch down in Chatham.
I see. Yeah, say hello to them for me. But
yeah, we'll do, man.
Yeah, don't listen to anything they've got to say. Because it's all lies.
Point taken. We'll tell them to keep still.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So you've just mentioned this, and you've got an EP launch on Saturday. Just tell me a bit about it.
So the way that we kind of build this night is like a loud, unapologetically loud and sleazy night. And basically what we try and do, we've done a couple of these gigs down at our local a couple of times now. What we try and do with these gigs is almost make it seem like we're back in the 80s. So we've got all the pretty lights, we've got all the neon stuff, we've got all the leopard print and all the bands that you could shake a stick at that almost fall into that genre. And then we got dancers. that come out with us as well, doing go-go dancing.
Okay.
So it's a proper throwback to like little dive bar, sleazy, sexy gigs, behind an alley somewhere. They do really well. And I'm really looking forward to doing it this Saturday, especially where we get the chance to finally play some of our new music where we haven't had a chance to do so yet.
Excellent. So, Dan, I mean, what are you looking forward to the most?
I'm looking forward to sweating it out on the stage and making some noise, and just seeing what everyone thinks about the EP, really.
Yeah.
There's one particular song we haven't really played live, called Home Where the Heart Don't Hurt. And I'm very much interested in how the fan base will reciprocate that.
Okay.
Because it's obviously different to what we usually play. So, yeah.
Yeah, you sound a little bit apprehensive, but I get the feeling it's not going to be a bad song. I get the feeling it's going to be well received from all points.
No, it's I think as Nathan said in a previous interview, it's going to incite a different emotion in the audience.
Right.
And not a bad one as such, but it's going to be different, as it were.
I think if you were to listen to kind of anything, even some of the three standout tracks from the main bulk of the EP and anything that we've done before, Home Is Where the Heart Don't Hurt sounds totally different. You might see it as taking a little bit of a risk from a band like us, because essentially it's not, as Dave, you and I were just speaking about, it's not really kind of like a sleazy glammy track. It's a lot more pop punk,
right?
Which is weird. It's almost like the two cultures that shouldn't work together almost kind of do, but we've managed to make a song where harmonies mix with the fun time element. But if you listen to the lyrics, they're really fucking dark. But hopefully the message of the song and the music behind it carries, and hopefully the crowd do well with it. I think we played it once before, but I don't think we've played it probably since the beginning of the year. That's how long ago it's been. So yeah, I can share Dan's apprehension about actually playing that song, but it's a good kind of apprehension, as I think everything is with the release of this EP.
Yeah,
I think we're all kind of apprehensive to see how it does, being the first body of work, the first proper fully bulked body of work that we've released since our last album came out in 2019. So yeah, we're excited. We're excited.
Yeah, I mean, it just sounds like you're fresh and ready to go with this EP and for gigging as well. I mean, if you were to pick, what's it, 4 tracks? I mean, if you could pick one track that you feel is your standout track, which really embodies you as a band now, which track would it be?
Me personally, I would say Hooked.
Yeah.
It's got that kind of swaggering sleaze sound, which I'm trying to like aim more towards. Like again, as we said earlier about how almost like rooted I am at the moment with this Swedish and Scandinavian sleaze scene. Yeah. It almost feels like it's been pulled from that, mixed in a blender with fucking Guns N' Roses, and this is the way that it'd come out through 4 British scummy lads, So yeah, it's a totally different sound to I think anything we've done. It's a lot groovier, but it's also quite heavy and it's also quite fast. It's a little bit. I don't know. It kind of shares a bit of a kin with like Guns N' Roses and Motorhead in the way that it comes across and in its delivery. I love playing that song, but that's because it's really bass heavy and I'm a bass player. So
completely biased. And what about you, Dan?
Totally.
I think I'll second that.
Yeah.
I really think Hooked kind of shows how far we've come as a band and our sound more polished and sharp. And it kind of comes to show like as time passes, we mature like a fine wine kind of thing. We're old as fuck now, but
No, you're not as old as me. Go
nah.
on, what do you mean now?
Well, well, that's me going. Well, then, yeah, fuck now. Right, 0 out of 10.
Their end of the interview.
Don't like them. Why? Tell me I was old.
No, I'm really old. I'm 55, so you know, I'm old. But no, I mean, you don't seem like you're the age of guys. You're not my age, so you didn't grow up with like the sleaze and the glam as much as I did. It was like, I suppose, Motley Crue. I can remember just seeing like the first album being released as I don't know, it was like 13, 14, just walking through Exeter, seeing HMV and just seeing posters up in a window and stuff like that. I wondered, who the bloody hell is that?
Yeah.
You know, so
that's almost what it was like with us lot. I don't know how we kind of fell into it. I mean, I think early influences. My old man is absolutely obsessed with AC/DC, and as a byproduct, so am I. I love AC/DC. They're one of my favorite bands, if not top. But obviously, I think when you're young, when you, for example, when band members first experience someone like Slipknot, for example, you then start looking down that road for, oh right, who's heavier than that? And I think that's how it kind of went for me, for example. Like Motorhead and AC/DC were always kind of like on constant rotation, but in my house back like when I was starting to get into music. But then I wanted to go down a little bit of a different road. I think Connor, our drummer, he started picking up stuff like Poison, and then I started picking up stuff like Motley Crue. You then go down that road of like Twisted Sister and Vane, Bullet Boys, but then as a result as well, you do your digging on some of the more new, like on the newer bands and how it's kind of progressed and evolved. Don't get me wrong, I don't think the Darkness are bad. I think they're a little bit kind of too much into the falsetto glam stuff. I like my music with a little bit more bollocks behind it personally. Which is why I love the kind of the Swedish sound. And it was always about trying to find that heavier sound from AC/DC onwards, you know.
Yeah. Okay. So Dan, I mean, what were your early influences really?
Completely different.
Yeah.
I didn't get into rock or metal until I was about 13, 14. And so I think it went from one extreme to another. So I started out with Queen because it's what my mum loved. And I just remember nicking this CD from my mum's cupboard and just having it on repeat all the time. It's like Queen's Greatest Hits or something. Just remember loving it. And then when I met some friends at school, that's when I started getting into like Slayer and Mayhem, Megadeth, and Death, and
you've gone quite dark. I've got to say.
yeah. This is what I'm saying. It went from one extreme to another, and then when I met Connor and Nathan, that's when I started discovering bands like Poison, Twisted Sister. That's where my journey started. And then over the years, it's kind of stuck on me. So I got things on my playlist like Black Spiders and Shiraz Lane, Michael Monroe on my playlist now. Something I would have never have had if I was 15 or 16, because then I was just like, yes, metal, you know. But my mind is broadened because of these boys. So
I feel for you, mate. I really do, because you know they've been such a bad influence.
Yeah,
they are in so many aspects.
Look where I am now. I'm now wearing eyeliner and nail varnish on stage. If you asked me 10 years ago if I was going to do that, Well, that's your gig. I don't think I'll ever go to that point. But,
Never
yeah.
say never.
Well, that is true.
Okay. So the EP is out on Friday, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Taste of Filth. Is it, I assume, all
Very
streaming
tasty.
platforms? Very tasty. Okay.
Yes.
All streaming platforms, are they going to be physical copies as well?
Yes,
Yes.
there are physical copies. They're still available to order online. We're doing everything in kind of bundle packages at the moment. Because we have got, in terms of our merch, it's one of the kind of most fruitful that I think we've ever actually had.
Okay.
And also we kind of, despite it being a 4-track EP, we want people to have more bang for their buck. So yeah, it's available digital, it's available physical, where you can get it on spiderbyte.bigcartel.com. Yeah.
And go to a gig, buy merch.
And go to a gig. Yeah, definitely go to a gig. I should have said that.
Apart from the EP launch on Saturday, what else have you got coming up?
To be honest, after that, we've got one more hometown gig in Gravesend. We're playing Leo's Red Lion with Roxy Red, White Tiger, and Stop Stop.
Okay, don't mention me to White Tiger. Thank you.
Sorry.
Don't mention me to White Tiger. Thank you.
Oh, I'm going to now that you've said it. That's Primer and White Tiger. I got to tick off the list.
Yeah. No. Just block them from your memory. They don't know me.
So we got that, and then we're playing. I think the day after we're playing up in Sheffield.
Okay.
I don't actually know what venue yet, but I think that's like a proper just standalone gig. So we're doing like 2 45-minute sets. After that, I think we are going to try and pick up a couple more gigs here and there before the year's out. Other than that, it's just basically going to be back into writing. We're going to go back into writing and just keep on with this kind of fire that we've got at the moment. I've been saying to a couple of people that I've seen at gigs and just speaking to in general, you got a good feeling about certain songs when the lyrics have been written, the music hasn't been written, but you've got an idea for melody and you can already tell how fucking huge it's going to sound.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about the stuff we've got coming out. It's literally just kind of a case of getting into a room with the rest of the lads, workshopping it, and then just building it to be as massive as I personally believe that it's going to be.
Excellent. Well, I wish you all the very best. I won't hold you up too much longer, and I wish you all the very best with the EP launch this weekend.
Cheers, Dave. Thank you very much, man.
Thank you
very much for having us.
No worries. Take care.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.